there a way to sort of reconcile what occurred in Game 7 as opposed to the success of the overall season?
Yeah, Game 7's always going to sit with you. I think we had a good enough team to go further. Mentally and physically, I'm not ready to be done yet. I don't think a lot of guys in there are. But that being said, after having a couple days to reflect on it, the season was still a bit of a success for us. It's nice to finally take a couple steps forward after being stuck in neutral for a while. It's nice to have a little bit of progress. And that being said, we've got something pretty important to work towards going into next season.
The next step, probably even more difficult than the ones you guys just took. What do you feel the group has to do collectively to get to the next step next season?
Well, I think we went through what we had to do. We had to get to the playoffs. We had to experience it. And I think we had just about every possible experience squeezed into 13 games. Whether it was blowout wins, blowout losses, comebacks, both ways, closing a team out. There's just so much to be experienced there. And I think getting there and going through it at least one time now, we'll be better served for it going forward.
Mark, how would you describe the relationship between some of the guys in their late 20s and early 30s and, the young guys who were drivers on the team like McDavid and Leon, and maybe how that contributed to how the team progressed this year?
Yeah, I think it's a tight-knit group in there. Everything, when Connor talks about how everybody has a voice, he's not just, blowing smoke. It's true in there. Everybody's got a voice. There's not a divide in the room. It's not cliquey or anything like that. We've got a really good group. It's special in there. I think that's why it's so disappointing that we're going home right now. We're not done being around each other. We really enjoy each other's company that much. And the experiences that we've been able to share with each other, I think you've seen that in what's gone forward with the team.
Can you equate being in Pittsburgh, Draisaitl, McDavid, Crosby, Malkin? You were actually in Pittsburgh for most of it.
It's not totally fair to make those comparisons, but I think the way the coaches has used them would be similar to the way Dan used, Sid and Gino there, where at times he'd put them together, at times he'd split them apart. I think it creates matchup problems, clearly. In two different series, we had to give two different looks to have success. But those guys, they're pretty established and have been doing it for a long time. I'd like to see our guys have the same kind of careers, same kind of longevity, and obviously the same kind of success.
Was Leon better than you thought he'd be going in this season? I saw him last year, but
I don't think Leon got enough credit for what he did last year. I think a lot of the credit was given to Taylor and that he kind of carried Leon, but I don't think Leon got nearly the credit he deserved in what he had brought to that line. And I think he proved that this year. There was questions about if he'd still be able to do what he did last year without him. And I think he exceeded that. And I think that's the kind of chip that he plays with. He wants to be the best, every night, and that includes Connor. He wants to be better than Connor. So I think when you have those two kind of internally driving each other, you're going to get those kind of players and those kind of performances that we've seen.
Mark, and now you guys have kind of set the foundations, and the expectations for next season will be perhaps a little bit higher. Can you just speak to that going into the...
Yeah, it's no different than it was last off season. We feel like the foundation was actually put in place last year, and we've just built upon it. The bar's gone higher now. The expectations, like you said, have gone up. Does that mean that we're going to get to where we got to this year every year? Maybe not, but that's our expectations. We're not expecting to sneak into the playoffs. We're going after division titles, and Stanley Cup's the goal here. It's no longer a hope. It's the goal.
can you look at other teams that were on the precipice of getting better, like Chicago before they got Kane and Taves? They lost in the finals, and then they won the next year. In Sydney, they had to lose a little bit, and then they won.
I hope that's the recipe. I mean, it would play out nicely if that was the recipe. I think it's a little too easy to claim that success is guaranteed now that we've taken a couple steps forward. I think, there's been teams like the Islanders who have seemingly took a step forward and then the next year took one back. So I think we have to be conscious of that the summer we have to still put in the work. We're not going to sneak up on anybody next year. Everybody's going to be ready for us. Next season, to me, is going to be even more difficult. And a bigger challenge for this group.
You can see teams, free agents now, all of a sudden.
Well, players want to play for winners. If they see Edmonton as a clearer path to winning a Stanley Cup, people will come here, for sure.
Thanks, Mark.